This video is brought to you by Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist, my new book, which is a comprehensive guide to all aspects of music theory necessary for playing rock guitar. From blues to the cycle of fifths, from understanding and using modes to choosing the right notes for a melodic solo, from pentatonic scales to chord construction and keys. It's all covered in a clear and concise manner. With accompanying video demonstrations, jam tracks and tabs, you'll learn to use the knowledge you gain in accessible ways that make sense for less than the cost of a few guitar lessons. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Today being Wednesday, we're dealing with a viewer's question, and today's question comes from a viewer, as you would expect, viewers' questions and all that, but he's also a student of mine, and he's also one of the many people who have very, very generously supported me by buying my book, which is mentioned at the top of all of these videos these days, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist. And many of the themes in that book that where I'm explaining kind of modes and this, that and the other and harmony and basically all the practical music theory you need to be a rock guitarist. When I'm explaining all of this sort of stuff, there's a strong emphasis on learning where this stuff lives on the neck of the guitar so you can make use of it in a practical way, hence the title of the book. So it doesn't just become some kind of academic exercise. You can actually use the information to make you sound better and improve your playing. And his question was, this all makes perfect sense, but how on earth do I begin kind of, harnessing all of this and putting it to use on the neck of the guitar? And basically the answer is a little bit at a time. If we're talking, for instance, about note locations on the neck of the guitar, one of the biggest hurdles that many people struggle to get past when it comes to just learning what you're doing and understanding what you're doing, then don't try learning the whole neck, memorizing it all in one go, because it just won't work. In my experience, none of these, patent systems for learn the neck in 30 minutes, learn the whole fretboard in one session, I've never found one that works. Maybe there is one out there that does, but it's much more a case of slow and steady wins the race, I think. Do it gradually, do it a little bit at a time. A little bit like this.
Here is the explanation.
Okay, so let's begin by looking at a familiar scale pattern. This one here goes like this. And if you do that as we did there at the 5th fret, that gives us an A minor pentatonic scale. Now, the reason why I like to use A minor as the key to do this in is because it gives us a couple of little handy reference points that make it easier to learn the sort of principles of what's going on, and then we can transpose later. More on that as we go through the video. But if we start right at the top of this A minor pentatonic scale, this is a C note. And then if we come down to the next note, we have an A. This is a G, the next note down the scale. Then we go to an E. Then we go to a D note. So what we've actually done there is spelled a word. We've spelled caged. C, A, G, E, and D. This isn't anything to do with the caged system, by the way, that method of, visualizing pentatonic scale patterns, with chords kind of at the core of them. It's not what we're talking about here. It's just a happy little coincidence that as we descend the A minor, or you could call it C major pentatonic, from a C note, anywhere on the neck, we always spell that word caged. C-A-G-E-D. C-A-G-E-D. And then C, and then A again. So what I've done, just for purposes of making that easy for my wonderful Patreon supporters, there's this little PDF here which shows all of the patterns of A minor pentatonic with all of the C notes indicated. So all you've got to do to find what notes are elsewhere in those patterns is just find a C note, walk down the scale, and you are spelling the word caged as you go. So this knowledge of knowing where those notes are, the C's, the A's, the G's, the E's and the D's, makes it fairly easy to locate other notes, and that's what we're going to be talking about here. Imagine if we had like a two-chord kind of vamp thing going on, maybe between an A minor chord and a G major chord. Maybe something. Just going back and forth between those two chords, plenty of time spent on each chord. When we hit that G chord there, we can add another note, and a couple of ways we can determine what that is. I'll show you the sort of way of visualizing it first. Again, another reason why I do a lot of these examples in A minor is because it's a familiar key for most guitar players. Most guitar players will feel much more comfortable, for instance, playing in A minor than they will in E flat minor. You could say that A minor is every guitar player's favourite key. You could even say that A minor is absolutely ace as a key to playing, okay? And look, as luck would have it, those three letters, A, C, E, that spell the word ace, those are the three notes in an A minor chord. You can play an A minor chord anywhere on the neck, and you've got an A note, a C note, and an E note. You've got an A minor chord here, A, there, C, and E, there. An A minor chord is only ever going to have those three notes in it, in some combination, and in various different orders, but it's only ever going to be A, C and E notes in an A minor chord. If you want to know what notes are in a major chord, then all you got to do, let's start with A major, all you got to do is take that middle note, the C, and bump it up one semitone. So an A major chord would have the A, then the C would go up to a C sharp, and then you'd have E. So if you know an A minor chord is ace, and you know that to make that into a major chord, all you got to do is take the middle note and just flip it up one semitone. You can use that to transpose and find what notes are in any chord. We're going to talk about that this whole transposing thing a little bit later, but for now we can use that principle to say, well, if we know that A minor is A, C, E, A major is A, C sharp, E, there's an A major, move it down 2 frets, it becomes a G major. Therefore, we now know what notes are in a G major chord, because it's just the A, the C sharp and the E. Move down 2 frets. A becomes G when you move it down 2 frets. C sharp becomes B when you move it down 2 frets, and E becomes D when you move it down 2 frets. So remember how I said the A minor pentatonic is C, A, G, E, D? Well, that G chord now has a B note in it. So as you're playing over that 2-chord vamp, you can start finding where B notes are simply by going C, A, G, E, D, C, A, G, E, D, C, A, and so on. And everywhere there's a C note, as you're going through that, 1 fret below it, there's a B note. C note, B note, C note, B note, 1 fret below it. So when you hear the chord change from the A minor to the G major, as you're kind of playing over that little 2-chord vamp, then just start including the B note. Start gradually at first, maybe just start in kind of, maybe concentrating on one of the B notes like this. And then when you hear the chord change back to the A minor, just kind of go back into your kind of regular A minor pentatonic. And once you're confident you can do it there, start finding it in other locations in relation to those 5 patterns, knowing where the C note is and B is always going to be 1 fret below it. Here's a little bit of a solo where I'm doing that. So after, a little while, maybe spending a few practice sessions doing that, finding where the B notes are all around the neck, you're going to be pretty familiar with those note locations. And, obviously if you're using the C note to locate where the B notes are, you're going to know where the C notes are as well. You're starting to build up a picture of the neck. What's happened is you've made a little bit of effort to determine where a note is, and then when you land on that note, it makes you sound good. Effort leading to reward. That is, a pretty standard model of how you learn absolutely anything, how you take information on board. There's another note we can add as well if we change the backing track slightly. If we, instead of going from an A minor to a G, how about if we go A minor down to F major? So you might have... etc. Now you could do that sort of, figuring out what notes are in an F chord, kind of A minor is A, C, E, then A major is A, C sharp, E, because the middle note goes up one, and then transpose that down until you find out what notes are in an F chord. You could do it that way, or you could just take a little bit more of a direct kind of route to it and think, well, I know the notes in an A minor pentatonic spell the word caged, C, A, G, E, D. And it stands to reason that if there's a chord called F, that's going to have an F note in it. That F note isn't in that A minor pentatonic. So let's see if we can find and locate some F notes in exactly the same way as we located the B notes. Okay, so we can go C, A, G, E. Oh, there's an E note there. One fret above E, there is always an F. So once again, just start slowly, just kind of playing maybe in top half of an obvious and easy pattern, and then when you hear the chord change, tip over to the F major chord, just start adding that F note in there. And once you're confident with that, start finding it elsewhere. And once again, here's a little bit of a solo where I'm playing over A minor to F major, and as soon as I hear the F major chord changed, the chords changed to F major rather, I start adding in the F note that I've located because I know where the E notes are, because C, A, G, E, okay, E is there, F is going to be there. Here's what it sounds like. And once again, after a few practice sessions, you can pretty confidently rely on the fact that you're going to know where the F notes are around the neck, as well as the E notes that you use to locate them. This is how you do it. This is how you gradually build up a picture of what's going on the neck and where things are. No information that you can kind of understand and appreciate and intellectually, make sense of. None of that is going to be intuitively kind of there for you in second nature until it's become something which has made you sound good or help you solve a problem or just kind of been beneficial to you in some kind of practical way. And this is how you can make that information work for you like that. Now, talking about the transposition, okay? We all lead busy lives, and, you know, if you are doing some 9-to-5 job and, you know, you've got family commitments and so on, and you don't have much time each day to devote to playing the guitar, that precious maybe 30 minutes, half an hour, 30 minutes to an hour maybe that you can carve out each day to spend time with your guitar. You don't want to be wasting that time doing all of the kind of number crunching. What notes are in this chord? How do I transpose this from this to this? Okay? You know, you just want to be picking up the guitar and playing. So, during those enforced kind of thumb-twiddling downtime waiting periods that we all have from time to time each day, you might be waiting for your turn at a coffee machine. You might be waiting your turn at a supermarket to pay for your goods. Anything like this, waiting to pay for your petrol or whatever. You know, during these kind of times, whether you're waiting for a kettle to boil, anything like that, anytime you've got a couple of minutes, instead of kind of pulling your phone out and checking FaceTube or Insta Twitter or whatever, okay, just set yourself a little bit of mental musical arithmetic, okay? Think, well, okay, I know that an A minor chord is A, C, E, A major is A, C sharp, E. What does that become if I move it all up 2 frets? And just kind of practice counting up, transposing up or down like that. I'm not going to say that you'll then remember that when you come to practice the, you know, this kind of technique we've been talking about here when you get home and kind of, you know, start playing the guitar. But it gets you into that mindset of being able to do it slickly and quickly and, you know, without kind of thinking, oh my dear me, panic stations, I've got to kind of think about music, you know, I've got to think about theory. You know, you just kind of take it in your stride if it's something that you're used to doing. And also just take these exercises that we've done here and transpose them into other keys. We've looked at A minor going to a G major. Well, what are those chords going to be if we transpose that to E minor? Okay, so, you know, what would be the two chords? Well, obviously E minor would be one of them, but what would be the other one? A minor to F major. What would that become if you transpose that up to D minor? You know, what would those two chords be there? What would be the additional notes that you'd be adding in? Where would those notes be in relation to the notes in the new pentatonic? What are the notes in the new pentatonic? Because you've had to do a transposition. All of this is the kind of thing that gradually over a period of time, as I say, you're waiting for the kettle to boil or waiting to pay for your groceries at the supermarket, you can just be kind of keeping on top of this sort of thing so that when you get home and pick up your guitar and do a little bit of, you know, kind of fun practice, kind of jamming, learning kind of stuff, you're not spending the first half of that time with a pen and paper methodically working stuff out. You've kind of got into the habit of thinking about it up here. And, you know, you've laid the groundwork, basically, or hopefully you have. Anyway, that is the best way that I can think of gradually building up knowledge of the fretboard and understanding how to implement the kind of stuff that I talk about in my book. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find full tabs in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats for both of those solos and the jam tracks I was playing along with. That explanation that you've just seen there. Clips of me playing the solos as well. And what else? The PDF of A minor pentatonic scale. Everything that basically you need to make full use of this information. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address and the link is in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, it's $3 or £3 a month, and you get access to all of these additional goodies and resources that go along with these YouTube videos. And a massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. And that is pretty much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful and hopefully informative and maybe enlightening as well. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 5 p.m. UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars and many, many other things. It's a fantastic way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.